Training camp is upon us. Veterans are reporting. Tomorrow will be the first day of camp, and it's the ultimate Browns. It's time to flip the switch. It's time to get into some real football conversation. It's time to get into that real talk. All the stuff, all the storylines and all that good stuff that kept you warm over the summer, guess what? It's football season. It's time to tell the truth. It's time to get to what we need to talk about with the Cleveland Browns, and we're going to do it here on the Ultimate Browns. Welcome to the fastest 30 minutes in all the sports. It's your boy G. Bush getting ready for you. It's football season. Let's cut all the pleasantries. It's football season. It's time to get right to it. We're not playing no games. We're going to give you a high-level overview of what's going on with the season right now for the Cleveland Browns. This is your training camp preview for this year, 2025. We're going to talk about 3 solid ways we can define success in 2025 for the Cleveland Browns. Also, we're going to give you the 3 most important Cleveland Browns in the organization to a successful season this year, and why this has everything to do with legacy. This is a legacy season for a lot of different people, and I think this is being missed upon a lot of different places, right? As we talk about this thing. And then we're going to get to why you pulled up on the channel today. I think this is going to be something that we're going to be talking about all year. And this is what I'm going to say. I refuse to punt on 2025. I don't know what this narrative is, but you can listen to whoever else you want in the media. You can talk about what their plans and grand plans are and what this season they think they're going to be good or bad or whatever the case may be. I'm coming from a strictly football perspective. I'm coming from a perspective in which I played. I'm coming from a perspective in which I've dedicated my life to following this game. And we're going to just be clear about the situation. We're going to have to decide whether Myles Garrett was telling the truth, or was he do we have to come to the conclusion that he was right about something? And we'll talk about how that wraps into what I'm talking about right now. But in terms of the situation, I'm done punting on seasons. And there's this thought process that nowadays we can just throw any quarterback out there we want. We got time. We're not going to be good this year. We might as well play so-and-so. We might as well put Pickett in the game. We might as well, we're not going to be very good this year. It's all about the dome. We're not going to be very good this year. It's about the quarterback class next year. That's a bunch of crap, man. You got a bunch of people in this locker room that's putting their bodies on the line, and a bunch of fans that have been waiting for years, since 1989, to win a division title. It sounds grand. Listen, I get it. We cover this sport all the time. I cover the sport. A lot of people have been covering this sport for a lot of years. Frankly, your expectation level, because you cover the team, does not really fancy into why the team should be good or bad. And to anybody to insinuate that this goal is to get a shiny new stadium and to punt on 2025, not figure out if you got guys that can play football or not try to go out here and do their best to win some sort of football games is wild. It's wild thoughts. And trust me, this don't happen nowhere else. And I'm here to tell you, it don't happen nowhere else in any other city. It don't. The New York Football Giants drafted 3rd overall. They don't have a quarterback. But do you think that they could come out there in New York and the New York media and tell them that they're going to be terrible next year and that's just what it's going to be, and we're looking for the quarterback next year? They were just as bad as you. They had Tommy DeVito playing quarterback. You know what they did? They went out and got Russell Wilson. They went out and drafted Jackson Dart. They got some young players. They've gotten players in the draft. They got the young defensive end out of Penn State. They got some guys, right? They got weapons on the outside. But in the New York media, they're not putting up with people talking about, well, this is all about next year or some dome. That's not it. The problem that we have is we will not be upright and forthright with ourselves and having expectation levels, even though in our hearts of hearts, we want to figure out, oh, well, it's not that bad. We got, it's next year. It's the next year after that. Frankly, people is tired of hearing that, man. I'm tired of hearing that. You know, I was upset when they went 3-7 last year. I was upset when they lost to the Houston Texans in the playoff round. I was upset the year prior to that when they went 7-9 or something crazy. But just because you're part of the media or you're a fan in your fan base and you say, well, I don't think that they're going to be that good. At some point in time, when is the expectation levels coming? At what point in time do you show your work? You know what I respect? I can respect somebody that can take something and move something. I watched the Washington Commanders have a terrible team and they draft 2nd overall. And they got to act like the Washington Commanders was going to be, everybody knew that Jaden Daniels and the Commanders were going to be great. No, they didn't. No, they didn't. But you know what the Washington Commanders did? They got out of bed, stopped feeling sorry for themselves, and put some energy level into building a culture, building something that says, not today. Be the change you want to see. But for so many years, we get to preseason, and it's not about me drinking the Kool-Aid. It's about changing your mentality so we can stop doing the same things over and over again. You know, you don't just find your franchise quarterback. Your franchise quarterback doesn't walk into your building. You actually have to go out and actually prepare your franchise quarterback. Give him the opportunity. Give him the resources. Get people around him. Invest in receivers. And actually say that I owe him a chance to play, and I'm going to do my best as a head coach to get the most out of this roster and this team. And I don't see that. I see people sitting back thinking that because you won Coach of the Year, that's some sort of mythical championship. And because, hey, this has happened to you. You know, you've been burdened with Deshaun Watson. They told you who to pick. You couldn't, their hands are handcuffed. At what point in time do you look in the mirror and say, not today, not anymore, not on my watch? Who's going to do it? Who's going to do it? Who's going to do it? When are we going to say enough is enough? And this year is going to be the year that we go for it. This year is the year that, yeah, you might have not thought we was going to be something, but who gives a damn what you thought? It's about what you can put on the field and aspire to. We think that some quarterback is going to ride on a white steed somewhere and save our whole history. I'm tired of carrying around the Cleveland Browns baggage. Everything is a woe is me. Everything is defeatism. Everything is a next year. Everything is, we don't need that. Everything is, well, you know, we don't really have our back. Listen, take that somewhere else. Maybe it's a self-fulfilling prophecy. You think, therefore you are. And you got young people on this roster that came from winning programs. They came from places like Oregon and Dylan Gabriel. They come from places where you were known as an underdog in Colorado. And you got people come from Ohio State. And you got guys coming from all over programs, Alabama, who ain't used to losing. The only people that are used to losing are the people that are covering the team and the people who own the organization. And at some point in time, either you're going to be saying, it's today we change this, not tomorrow, and I'm not looking for nobody to change it. I'm looking forward to get it done today. I don't care about the dome. It sounds nice. I don't care about your #1 draft picks next year. It sounds cute. I care about how you develop the people that you have on your roster today. Tomorrow, when veterans report and they pull up, it's time to start evaluating today. I don't give a damn where you was drafted at. I don't care where you grew up at. I don't care where none of that is. I want to see throws. I want to see the people up front block. I want to see coaches coaching their tail off. I don't care what you did in the last 5 years. I care about everybody on that practice field leaving every ounce of it out there because you owe it to people. You owe it. It's veterans out there that's busting their tails. It's veterans out there that are out there putting their bodies on the line. And the Cleveland Browns need to come together and say, listen, it's time out for what you did last week, or actually last week, last year, 10 years ago. What we talking about today? And if you put that level of pressure on people, if you put the level of, what is the expectation level? My expectation level, I want Kevin Stefanski to come out and say, my expectation level is that we're going to go and compete and go play in the playoffs. That's what Coaches of the Year put out there. That's what franchise general managers who got pride in who they picked and understand they know how to talent evaluate. That's what they're saying. That's what every single competitor should be saying. My job is not to sit here and say, well, listen, we're going to take Kenny Pickett and Kenny, he's welcome to compete just like the rest of them. But my job is not to say, well, how good do you think that they're going to be based on a reporter? And then you live up to those expectations based on what your general practice and thoughts were. Who gives a damn what me thinks, I think, you think? Go out there and perform like you got the urgency of tomorrow. It's too many people who think they got positions wrapped up. Where's the work? How dare you talk about next year and you ain't coached up the people you got this year? Where's the work? How dare you talk about, oh, well, listen, we got to figure out this person, we got to evaluate. Listen, where is the work? Tommy Reese, you are a first-year coordinator. Prove it. Kevin Stefanski, you want to be known as a coach that's doing his thing, and you want to be known as one of the top brass coaches? Prove it. Show me you know how to work with anybody. Show me you could turn Joe Flacco into a dude that could throw for 300 yards back to back without the interceptions. Show me if you think you know Kenny Pickett so well. Prove it to me. Prove it to me. Show me where he can go out and throw the ball downfield and show him run his offense. If you want the right to draft quarterbacks next year, you better do right by the quarterbacks you got now. Show me something with Dylan Gabriel. Show me something with Shedeur Sanders. Jim Schwartz, show me that, hey, listen, show me you ain't a one-trick pony. Show me that you could get you got guys in the secondary that could play anything besides cover one. It's a show me time right now. And pardon me, because maybe I might come off as a little hype. Maybe I might come off as a little extra. And guess what? Maybe you guys want somebody to soft toss you softballs and tell you everything. No, I'm not going to do that. But it's time out for this process of, I'm tired of waiting 3 to 4 years. And yes, the Cleveland Browns, they got some deficiencies. But what I want to see is I want to see them bust their ass this year. I want to come away saying, you know what, the Cleveland Browns is undermanned. But let me tell you what, Kevin Stefanski kept them in the game with 2 or 3 of them play calls. You know what? I know they ain't got too much on defense, and I know the defense is carrying them, but damn, let me tell you about Myles Garrett. And this dude had 3 sacks. He kept him in the game. Let me tell you about Denzel Ward. Hey, you know what? I'm going to keep it real. We got a lot of quarterbacks going in and out of the lineup, but let me tell you about Wyatt Teller and Joe Bitonio, Jack Conklin, and big boy DeJuan Jones over there, Ethan Poaches. Hey, they keeping guys fresh. The quarterback ain't on the ground. They able to run the ball. Hey, we're a little deficient on the outside, but the physicality is there. Have me come away from the season knowing at least, hey, we're deficient at areas. We may be playing young quarterbacks, but guess what? The special teams is on point. We're not turning the football over. We act like we understand where we're supposed to be lined up. There ain't no pre-snap penalties. That's the level of execution I want to see. And we'll talk about it later on. 3 solid ways to define success. Success for a team that is deficient may not end up in a Super Bowl. We all understand that. We're not stupid. But the thought process that we're going to come out here and play piss poor offense, bad defense, and look to have some 18-year-old kid that's playing in college football somewhere save us next year because we got draft picks, that don't mean a damn thing. You had draft picks this year. Is they good? You had draft picks last year. Is they turning out to be someone? You had cap space before. Did anything come of that? So don't tell me about your assets. Don't tell me about your new stadiums. Don't tell me about your seat licensing and then your new helmets. I want to see the Cleveland Browns in a renewed focus and saying, you know what I want to expect for the Cleveland Browns? At least when they get around us next year, they're going to play hard. They're going to be well coached. They're not going to beat themselves. And it's a team that the fans is proud to watch play on Saturdays and Sundays and Mondays and Tuesdays and whenever they play during the week. That's what we need to get back to. And those are some of the lessons that I learned from last year and the 1-31. But it's a team that goes from worst to first every single year. How's about you join the club, Cleveland? It's available to you. How bad you want it? Who gonna line up? Who gonna get it done? That's where I'm talking about. When we get back, we're gonna talk about the three most important Cleveland Browns for 2025. If you're gonna have a season where you beat expectations and outpace expectations, you gotta have three leaders. I'm gonna tell you who those three people are and why they are the most important, impactful people for 2025. You're listening to the Ultimate Browns. Full swing and every night delivers highlight-worthy performances, major momentum shifts, and can't-miss moments. Whether it's a game-winning shot or a breakout player, there's never been a better time to get in on the action. FanDuel makes it easy to stay in the game before tip-off and live with player props, performance trends, same-game parlays. Fans have more ways than ever to play smart and win big. Which players are showing up in the biggest moments, and how could tracking their trends help you build your next big bet? What would it look like to combine live prop bets mid-game based on how action unfolds? How could a $200 bonus in bonus bets add to the excitement if your first $5 bet hits? New to FanDuel? It's a perfect time to sign up. Head to FanDuel.com/UCSS and place your first $5 bet. If it wins, you'll get $200 in bonus bets. Make every moment more with FanDuel, official sports betting partner of the NBA. Welcome back to the fastest 30 minutes in all the sports. It's your boy G. Bush right here in the Ultimate Browns. We are giving you a training camp preview of the Cleveland Browns. Camp starts tomorrow. By the way, your boy G. Bush will be in the building if you are interested. Every time after camp, I will be coming to you live. Tomorrow, make sure you watch the Ultimate 216. I will be at training camp. I will be in with Earl to Pearl at 5 o'clock. Make sure you guys check that out. After that, we will be doing a live in which I will give you my news, notes, thoughts from practice earlier that day. We will be doing that on the Barbershop as well, simulcasting to UCSS. So we will be getting all over the place. It won't be just quarterbacks. We will be on what I learned from offense, defense, special teams, all the above, my news, notes, and every single time I'll be out there, we will be going live. So make sure you guys check that out. And on Saturdays, if you are listening to the Barbershop will come after practice, and I'll get out there and take a look and see what I give, and then we'll come back and do a special episode of the Barbershop. So keep it locked. We're ready to go. We got content coming by the boatloads. It's camp season. It's ready to go, and you got to keep it tuned to UCSS. Now let's keep it pushing. We talked about what I want to see for the season. Let's talk about this even more. Three most important players and most important people, because I'll start with the first person on this list for 2025 is Kevin Stefanski. This is going to be, for me, Kevin Stefanski's most difficult coaching job because of the way two relationships ended. One with Baker Mayfield and one with Deshaun Watson. We've all delved into all of those relationships before, and guess what? Some of the stuff he didn't handle correctly. Some people second guess him on keep playing Baker Mayfield when he was hurt. Some people second guess him moving on from Baker. Some people second guess him with Deshaun Watson, moving from coordinator, moving the offense, changing that, and not being able to call him out on certain things in the film room. All these things are well documented. But it's time where you can have another opportunity to see right now his evolution and what he learned from his mistakes last year. He made some mistakes last year. And I think everybody makes mistakes through their coaching tenure. And as you grow with the organization, you get an opportunity to see some of the things you did. And I want to see if he makes the same mistakes. I want to see if he's learned from them. He has his most difficult job this year because all eyes are on Berea. All eyes are on the Cleveland Browns. When you get, and this is just a simple facts. The Cleveland Browns, of the way that they've stacked themselves, have given themselves no great PR. They just came off the Myles Garrett thing where he asked for a trade. They got him to come back into the fold. We're going to see, did Myles Garrett, was he telling the truth? Was he saying, hey, look, y'all ain't trying to win? We're going to be looking at his effort, his energy, and the way Coach Stefanski, really gets him to play a certain style of football. What is that relationship going to look like? Coach Stefanski also has to deal with the quarterback room. He came out and said it's a 4-quarterback race. Joe Flacco has already shown his worth in this league before. Joe Flacco was a fan favorite. Joe Flacco led the team to the playoffs. He's going to be a popular candidate. You mix that with the fact that the elephant in the room is a lot of people, they see Kenny Pickett as a former Pittsburgh Steeler, rightfully or wrongfully. Listen, I could care less if he was a Pittsburgh Steeler or not. Whatever, it's kind of tongue-in-cheek people say about it. But there's some people who look at that and is going to say, okay, I'd rather have Flacco. I'd rather have Joe Flacco. There's a thought to where Joe Flacco has one of the best arms out of the group. You also have Dylan Gabriel, who has a contingency of people that believe Dylan Gabriel, if he was a little bit taller, would be a higher pick in the draft. But they like his game. They like his arm, like his intangibles, like the fact that he's a cerebral player. And then obviously you like Shedeur Sanders. And let's keep it real. We're not just saying we like Shedeur Sanders because he's famous or whatever. We like Shedeur Sanders because he can play football. We like him because he was a first-round pick in our minds in terms of talent evaluators, at worst a second-round pick. People wanted Shedeur Sanders at pick number 2. It's not just because he's some reality star. He can play football. We've seen it in the tape. We've seen it in his practice at OTAs. It's been documented. So when you have all of these 3 people in the mix, you have a lot of stuff that you're going to need to deal with. And how you handle this is going to be pivotal. Because think about it. You're going to be expected to play all of these guys. The first decision is, who do you keep there as a veterans? Are you keeping 4 quarterbacks? Are you going to start Pickett? If Pickett isn't playing well, are you moving to Flacco next, or are you going to the young guys? It's just all about how you do it. And there's going to be a faction of the fan base that's going to be upset about all of it. If you play Dylan Gabriel over Shedeur, people are going to be upset. Some people, if you play Shedeur over Dylan Gabriel, they're going to say, why would you take a 3rd-round pick and you took Shedeur later, and all of a sudden, why did you waste that pick? Some people are going to say, why did you bring Flacco back and then cut him because you got Kenny Pickett? Some people are going to say, well, why did you give all this draft capital? You gave a 5th-round pick for Kenny Pickett, then you cut him? You see what I'm saying? How you handle that matters. Throw into the matter, Quinshon Judkins, he looks like is not going to be available for the foreseeable future. What do you do? How are you running? Are you going to run the same offense? Is Dylan Sampson going to get it? All these things are going to watch Kevin Stefanski. And when I say it's a legacy year or a make or break, it's this. Kevin Stefanski can come out of this thing looking and smelling like $1 million. We'll kind of talk about that 3 ways to define success coming up in the next segment. But you tell me, if the Cleveland Browns come out here, you don't have Quinshon Judkins, Dylan Sampson looks pretty good, you go back to your offense, and not only does the offense run, offense is efficient, and at the same time you may possibly develop one of the young quarterbacks, they're going to come out. If you do that and you can possibly use those picks next year on something else, Kevin Stefanski could write his contract. Because how many coaches would be able to handle that quarterback competition, changing the offense back over, and no expectations from the fan base or the media in terms of win-loss records? Come on now. Pivotal. If he coaches at a level where he gets them to play clean football and they win 8, 9 games, 7, 8, 9 games, everybody's going to come away saying Kevin Stefanski is the right guy for the job. But he can also come away looking real bad because this thing can spiral very quickly with a lot of factions of the fan base arguing back and forth about who should be coming in and out as quarterback and whether the team is evolving under Kevin Stefanski. Second most important player, it goes back to Kevin Stefanski's offense to me, it's Joel Bitonio. He came back. And what I put on the thumbnail, it's legacy. And the reason it is truthfully about legacy with this is because you got to look at this, guys. The legacy of Joel Bitonio can be looked at differently here. Joel Bitonio at one point in time, no lie, I felt was on a Hall of Fame track. But that's what happens when you play with young quarterbacks or quarterbacks that don't get it done. Where you don't have a franchise quarterback, you have these ups and downs. And for an offensive lineman, you have to have some success in the postseason to get to where you need to go in terms of wearing that jacket, unless you are Joe Thomas. Or you're just that good, it don't matter. The team was that bad around you, it didn't matter. But Joel Bitonio is going to be one of the big keys for this entire season because the offense is surrounding, and the offense is going to be the focal point of what they want to do. Joel Bitonio thought about retirement long and hard. And the reason I say Joel Bitonio is because it takes a level of physicality. It takes a level of stamina. It takes a level of just want to and nastiness to play the way that the Browns played in 2020. Understand that way takes a physical toll on you. Wyatt Teller understands that. Hey, Dick Chubb and Kareem Hunt understand that. But when you had Dearness Johnson as a third running back, you had Kareem Hunt as your second back, and you had Nick Chubb, and you had a young, in the prime, Joe Bitonio and Wyatt Teller. Come on now. Jack Conklin was part of that group, but the Cleveland Browns ran the ball over in what they wanted to do. Kevin Stefanski was able to run some of that stuff. You know why? Because they had a mauler group up front with 2 physical guards. You fast forward to 5 years later, you're 5 years older, a lot of more wear and tear on your body. Is it possible that you could have thought about retirement, but now reverting back to a more physical style of football? I ain't known too many to do that. I ain't known you to get older and get more physical. I ain't known people to get older and still be that aggressive and still be able to play that style of football. Because what it does, it puts a lot of strain on your offensive line. That's why I always tell people there needs to be an evolution of what Kevin Stefanski wants to do. It can't just be the same. We got to incorporate some other things because I don't believe that you can sit back and rewind the hands of time and come back and just say we're gonna get prime Wyatt Teller and Jack Conklin and Joe Bitonio. It starts with Joe Bitonio, though. He came back. Can he get that offensive line unit to a point where not only are they able to run the play action stuff, are they able to give enough protection to quarterbacks that may be learning on the run, that may tend not to see their first read, that may hold the ball a little extra second other than Joe Flacco? That's the point I want to see. Because if you want to see the 2 young rookies play, their success level is going to be tied directly to how well that they can protect them and how well the offensive line can run the football. That's why I go with Joe Bitonio at number 2. Number 3 is Myles Garrett. I could have had him at 1. I could have just squinted real easy and said Myles Garrett's the best player on the team. It is what it is. But I'm picking Myles Garrett for a different reason. I'm picking Myles Garrett to see the level of want to. And I've never questioned Myles Garrett's wants to. If anything, I've been one guy in the city who says, come on, bro, if anybody deserves a pass on anything, it's Myles Garrett. He's one of the best defensive players in the game. He is the best defensive player in the game. And not only is he that, he's one of the top 10 people in the league, in the top 10, period. Other than, quarterbacks. He's the guy on a short list. When you go to the best non-quarterback, he's on a very short list. He can wreck games. He can change games. This year, I'm looking for him to change more than the game by itself. What I'm looking for him to do is to inspire. I want him to take and have an expectation level for Mike Hall Jr. and Mason Graham, Isaiah McGuire, Alex Wright. I want him to take those guys aside and say, listen, I'm on y'all every week. Where's your second pass rush move? Where's your third pass rush move? We out here working stuff after practice. I need my 2 defensive tackles to dominate. I need them to dominate. Should nobody block y'all one-on-one, because I'm going to take 2 for the team. I'm going to take 2 and 3. I want to see where he's pulling those guys together. I want to see, hey, listen, hey, we got team meeting. I want to see all the guys together. We're a unit. If the Cleveland Browns are going to have expectations outside of, 3-4 wins, defense is going to have to go back to the way it was. And I'm talking about dominant. Sideline to sideline. When you come to Cleveland Browns Stadium, I don't know who banged it on the side of the keys or whatever. Right? Y'all getting a new stadium. Send the old stadium out the right way. Because it ain't been worth, you ain't had no home field advantage up to this point. Send it out the right way. Put an exclamation point on what you're trying to prove and say, listen, guys, if we're going to be good, we're going to have to carry some quarterback play and might have to carry offense that ain't that good. So we got to get to the point where these young guys are playing over their head. And the first thing it starts with is saying that, listen, we got what it takes to be the best defensive line in the game. You already got me. You got 2 high draft picks of Mike Hall Jr. You got Mason Graham, a number 5 pick. Expect production, and the expectation level is that's what we're going to be. And that's what I want from Myles Garrett. I want that from Denzel Ward. But it starts with him. Because you said the Browns wasn't serious about winning. Well, you have some things in your purview that you can do. You got some things right in your tool belt that you can do. I can't guarantee that the quarterback play going to be there or the receiver weapons going to be there or how effective this new switch to the back to Stefanski stuff going to be there. But you know what I can do is demanding more and say the defensive side of the football, leave that to me. Leave that to me. That's what Ed Reed do. That's what Cameron Hayward do. That's what Ray Lewis does. That's what Brian Urlacher do. Warren Sapp, leave the defense to me. And if you can get that off, that is where you can make some progress. Speaking of progress, I'm coming up next. We do 3 solid ways to define success other than Super Bowls coming up this season. It's G. Bush right here on the Ultimate Browns. Let's talk about the great Game Time app. Now, check this out. Game Time has a new feature called Game Time Picks that makes getting tickets for your favorite live events even easier. Game Time Picks filters out the fluff to show you only incredible deals on great seats so you don't have to waste time searching through thousands of tickets. You also get the seat views, get a panoramic view from your seat in the app before you buy it. The lowest tickets prices guaranteed, or Game Time will credit you 110% of the difference. Game Time ticket coverage is the best in the business. Your purchase is covered with the most flexible customer service policy in the ticketing industry. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use the code word LOCKEDON NFL for $20 off of your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem the code Locked On NFL. That's LOCKEDON NFL for $20 off. Download the Game Time app today. What time is it? Game time. Welcome back to the fastest 30 minutes in all of sports. It's your boy G Bush right here on the Ultimate Browns. We've been talking about the training camp preview again. G Bush will be at camp tomorrow. So if you guys are posted up, I'll be on Ultimate 216 afterwards, giving you all the updates and thoughts from camp. And we will be going live on the Barbershop and UCS simulcasting, talking about whatever we saw and how we got down. Make sure you make an appointment to get ready for that. Training camp is on the way, and it's time to get it going. 3 solid ways to define success in 2025 from the Cleveland Browns. And we start by, first and foremost, finding a quarterback. If you can find a franchise quarterback and you could come away with some of the feelings that the New England Patriots had with Drake May, you could come away with the feeling they have with Jaden Daniels. You could come away with feeling like you have a guy that the majority of the fan base can get behind. The coaching staff and the general manager can get behind. And the city can get behind. You've done yourself, you've done what you needed to do. You've completed the first piece of the puzzle. Because if you find the quarterback, think about this. If you could come away feeling so good that all 3 of those people check the box as a franchise quarterback, because you know it when you see it, you then can probably check mark and check the box that you have the general manager as well as the head coach and the owner. Does it not? Does it not? Both picks for the Cleveland Browns, and I keep it open. You know how I feel about Shedeur Sanders, but listen, I keep it open. We're going to see tomorrow. Don't care what I think. We're going to see tomorrow. Everybody got an opportunity to show and prove. But if you do get a pick, nobody said Dylan Gabriel was a third-round pick. People was confused when they drafted him in the third round. They said, hold on. He's not on nobody else's board like that. What's going on? If he turns out to be a franchise quarterback, the Cleveland Browns brass looks like geniuses, don't they? Because nobody else had that. If Shedeur Sanders turns out to be the franchise quarterback in the 5th round, this is a steal of the century. You not only erased Deshaun Watson's $230 guaranteed $1 million, you found a quarterback in the 5th round. 5th? Come on. And you're paying them pennies on the dollar, both of them? If you get that off, that is the biggest heist in the world. And guess what? Everybody that said, well, guess what? That wasn't Andrew Berry or Kevin Stefanski's pick. That was Jimmy Haslam. If Jimmy Haslam finds a franchise quarterback because he told him in the middle of the night, go draft Shedeur Sanders in the 5th round, trade up to go get him, Jimmy Haslam looks like a genius, does he not? Andrew Berry looks like a genius for drafting him. And if Kevin Stefanski has him looking like a franchise quarterback because he's coaching and calling a play style that's conducive to him winning and the team winning, and you seeing those traits as a franchise quarterback, guess what? You feel good all the way around about everybody now, don't you? That's the first way you can find out whether you have success without winning the Super Bowl. Second thing is, it alludes to what I was saying before. Outpace expectations. And what are those expectations? If you get 7, 8, 9 wins in this division, and even if you don't got a franchise quarterback and you don't find one, but your teams are playing up to standard, your team is, you go back to the way you want to play, and you're not beating yourselves, and you're playing hard every single week, and it's a team that you can get behind, and it's fun to watch because they play their tails off. They don't commit penalties. They're a team that represents the city. We can get behind that. We understand that you ain't got no receiver besides Jerry Jeudy. We understand that. But if you can get guys that are doing something, And Myles Garrett comes back out and he plays every single game. He playing hard, and that defense looks like defense we saw before. We ready to go, ain't we? People can get behind that. People get behind a team that want to play hard and it's going to outpace expectations. People can do that, right? Because we know that you kept the locker room. Your veterans didn't lose the locker room. They played hard until the end. And you know you didn't have really a quarterback. You know you don't have skill positions. You know you might be without Quinshon Judkins for the first 6 weeks of the season. You understand there might be some injuries here or there. But if you give me 7, 8, 9 wins, and people is like, listen, we don't want to play the Cleveland Browns. Their style of play is rugged. They will fight you tooth and nail. They ain't gonna beat themselves. And when you play the Cleveland Browns, get ready for that ice tub. They're physical, well coached, and they're not taking no shorts. You can't come in and punk the Cleveland Browns. You're not gonna beat them down and intimidate them, and they're gonna bring that hat every week. We can win with that. The fans will take that. The people will take that. And the final way is, if Andrew Berry looks like he done hit on something and he finally paying dividends. Because we ain't talked about Andrew Berry. He's the guy that has to prove to many the most off bat. Hey, Andrew, can we look at this roster and say, look, he won 5, 6 games. But look at Harold Fanning Jr. He looked like one of the best tight ends in the game. Dang, you see, look, Dylan Sampson, good gracious, he might be offensive rookie of the year. Did you see what Shedeur did? He out here throwing dimes. If you hit on DeJuan Jones is one of the best tackles in the league according to PFF. Mason Graham got 6, 7 sacks this year. Mike Hall Jr., they can't block him one-on-one. Alex Wright and Isaiah McGuire is balling. Hey, Carson Schlesinger, he's in the top 5 in tackles, leading the league in tackles. The youth movement. Zach Zenner steps up when Wyatt Teller goes down and looks like he's a viable option to take either a position at left or right guard. Right? Jack Conklin has another bounce back year. So now that move that you had, where you gave him that money, looks like a smart move. Hey, Jamari Thrash is catching the football. Deontay Johnson ain't even on the field. We got Jamari Thrash playing ball. Hey, listen. Cedric Tillman finally put it together this year. If you get a youth movement and the Browns look like a team that next year they are putting on the stamp, the Cleveland Browns were an exciting football team this year. They found a franchise quarterback. They look like they got a couple of young receivers that's going to do something, a stable of young backs and a good offensive left tackle that's going to anchor it for the future, and a defense that was emerging last year with some new guys. Cleveland Browns got 2 first-round picks next year. They're going to use those to bolster other positions. Now we talking about something. Now we talking about something we can get behind and get excited about. We can put our arms around something like that because now the future looks bright because the Browns got old overnight. Browns got old overnight, man. Listen, we just talked about it years ago how once upon a time we saw about Denzel Ward and Nick Chubb and Baker Mayfield being the young guys. We had Odell Beckham Jr. and Jarvis coming and bring that veteran. J.O.K. was a young guy that was coming. This is how life comes at you fast in the NFL. Just as old as they got, if you hit on your draft picks and you go with the youth movement and you look like you got some guys that are impact players, we can call that successful and not go to the Super Bowl. Those are the 3 ways that I define success without winning the Super Bowl. And as always, you know what we do over here in the Barbershop. You know what we do in Ultimate Browns. We got to keep it real. This football season, let's lock in. Let's tap in. Let's get back to, listen, we ain't doing no more narratives conversations. Because guess what? Anything, I can't make it up. Aditi can't make it up. Mary Kay can't make it. Jason Lloyd, Jay Crawford, Mikey McNuggets Anthony, Earl the Pearl, Tyvis. It don't matter what nobody is saying. Tomorrow we get to find out. And that's the best part about football. We're going to find out what it is. With that being said, you never know where G. Bush might show up, radio, television, internet. But if you want the fresh cut on sports, you want the honest to goodness truth, I keep the Clippers with me. Have a good rest of your evening. And guess what? Practice is coming. Practice is coming. Practice is coming. Go Browns.